Hi Stampers! Today is the day. I've had so many requests for me to make a video on this surprise pop-up card. So today we're going to do that. I'm using the Crabbing Company, Mr. Krabby Pants. And I'm using Pixie Pink with the Whisper White on the back. And this is how it works. You're going to pull the top and it's going to slide. Don't you love it? It's so cute. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. You're first going to use your front of your card. I always stamp the images first. And I'm using Pixie Pink, and for the back of my card is Whisper White. And you want to cut those both at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, like a postcard. And you want them to be, perfectly matched up on all sides. And then for the tag part, which is this part right here, this part, that's going to be cut at 3 inches by 4 3/4. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to cut my front of my card, Pixie Pink, and I'm going to put the cardstock in at 3 1/2 inches. And then I'm going to take my slider here, my cutter, and I'm going to use my arm as my guide. I'm going to line this cutting mechanism right here. Remember those arrows? That's exactly where the blade is. So you want to line that up with the 3/4 inch. Right here's the inches. I'm going to line that blade point right up to the 3/4 inch. And I'm going to cut down to 4 3/4, which is down here. So I'm going to go down from 3 3/4 to 4 3/4, which is right there. Make a couple passes, and then I'm going to pick up my card and I'm just going to turn it over and do the same side at 3 1/2, and cut that again at 3/4 to 4 3/4. Lining up that arrow, make a couple passes. Okay, so now we want to connect these two cuts, and I'm going to put my card in at 4 3/4. Actually, I'm going to put it in this way because I want to cut the bottom. I want the slider. I'm going to cut this right here, because if I was to put it this way, it would be cut at the top, and you don't want that. Okay, so you're going to put it in at 4 3/4, and now I'm going to connect these two cuts here, starting at 3/4 again, and I'm going to cut down to 3 1/2, which would be perfect right where those cuts are. Make a couple passes again. Okay, so then you're going to get your square like this. It should look like that. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to score the bottom of my card at 1 1/4. So put your cardstock in at 1 1/4. And I'm going to score it with my bone folder. Now you're only going to score between the cut lines. You don't need to score the whole bottom half of your card. Just where your cutout is. Okay, then I'm going to score, and then I'm going to slide it down to 3 inches. And this is going to give me the center pop-up. So score it 1 1/4, 3 inches, and then 4 3/4. And 4 3/4 will be right where that connecting those two lines are. Okay. Alright, so then you got your center part of your flap here scored. So now I'm going to fold all my score lines up, down, all around. Get this up here. So it should sit like this when you're done with the folds on the score lines. Alright, so then I'm going to take the Whisper White, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to line that up. And I'm going to take my 1 inch circle punch. I'm just going to punch in about 1/4 of the way. You want to do both of them, or you can just do one, it doesn't matter, I do both of them. Alright, so then once you got the punch line up, then that's all you're going to do for that. And then I'm going to take some sticky strip. I'm going to apply that right here along that 1 1/4 score line there. Cut that. Make sure that's done really good. Okay, then I'm going to peel that off. And then I'm going to take my Whisper White, my slider tag part. This is cut at 3 by 4 3/4. And I'm going to line this up. Now this is actually cut wider than my slider mechanism right here. It's just a smidgen wider so it will hold in place when I actually slide it. But you want that slider part right at the edge of that cutout. So it'll be like that. You can't see it. Okay? Alright, so then we're going to take our snail. I'm just going to apply it to the edge of the 3 sides. 2 sides in the bottom. And then I'm going to take my Whisper White. I'm doing my hands. I'm just going to kind of level it out here where it's even. Okay, then you can do a test run on it, and it does work. Now, the reason I like to cut it will slide a little bit tight, but the more you do it, that'll loosen up a little bit to get that sliding going. But when I made one before, if you don't make it bigger, this slide out part right here, if you don't make that a little bit wider than the square here, it will be really flimsy. And as you can tell, it lifts up. Even though it still works, but if you want it to be more stable, then I would cut it a little bit wider. That's why we cut ours at 3 inches. Okay, so then you're going to make your little tag here. I'm going to add some black grosgrain ribbon as a pull, so they know to pull that. And then I'm going to just line it up, and then I'm just going to pull it out here. Let me trim that down. I'm just going to take my stapler here. Punch that there. Okay, so now this would be the time to stamp your images inside your slider part. I'm going to go ahead and use the Crabbing Company again. I'm going to use the Snappy Birthday and a pinch to grow an inch. Just going to stamp this down here. And the Snappy Birthday on top. Now remember, when you have your slider card closed, it won't show very much, but you just want to make sure it's down below that ribbon. And then you would, add your Mr. Krabby Pants, and I added some googly eyes. Alright, and here's this one. I haven't added the Mr. Krabby Pants yet, but okay, that's it. Pretty easy. Alright, we'll see you. Bye.